Online Voices and the 616 Company presents The Book of the Unguided, Canto II by Darren William Pearce, based on an original story by Richard Sjunnesson, narrated by Behr. Act 3. Exile. You humans have a word you use, do you not, for that particular person whom you feel the most attached to when you speak of love? Soulmate. I hear it often when I observe you, and you sound so firm in your belief that you have found the one. How do you know? And more importantly, when you are apart from them, how do you make up for the lost time? Can you imagine making up, say, 4,000 years of missed opportunity? That time which you have endured away from this true soulmate of yours and the one love destined to be in your life? I cannot understand it truly. And honestly, I would not know if I were in love, beyond the love I feel for those close to me. I may even have dabbled in something close to love during the time my brother was imprisoned in ice. But love as you know it is rarely an ingredient in an angel's life, and even less so in the life of a fallen. So imagine how shocked I was when I saw him meet Eve for the first time. Eve died of old age and was reborn in heaven. And for some reason she was introduced to us as, well, one of us, one of the seven. I saw their eyes meet when Eve looked upon my brother. He looked at her and there was a spark, well, beyond a spark. Let's call it an explosion of pure energy that connected them. The light of lights appeared in their eyes, and I would not be surprised if the whole world thought the sun had exploded on that fateful day. Like I said though, it was not that energy that shocked me. It was the rebirth of Eve as one of the seven. I know the history and you know the history. Eve was the first murderer. Thankfully, she did not become the world's first serial killer. That would have been rough. All levity aside, however, we seven are pure-breed angels created by the High God to be the instruments of the seraphim. Adam was specific in his instructions, though. One of the seven was needed to help form a new world. Mars, I think it was, but I may be wrong. So Adam ordered that Eve replace the missing soldier in our ranks. I am not sure why he did this, because he was the first victim of the first murder. Eve was the last being I expected Adam to want in our ranks, but he must have forgiven her. Whatever the reason, be it some form of love or understanding that he had neglected his wife by choosing his own daughter over her, I actually gained a lot of respect for Adam that day. Eve and my brother eventually left Zion, though, as you know, so there is really no need for me to regurgitate those facts for you here. I just remember they were sick of all the evil and wrongdoings in the world, so they put themselves as far away from the city as they could possibly get. Think of it like this. Imagine you got fed up of the human rat race and took your soulmate, if you have one, away from the hustle and bustle to live in a cabin somewhere far away in the woods. You learned to live off the land, away from social media, politics, taxes, and everything that binds your modern life together. That is exactly what Eve and my brother did. I heard snippets of what happened out there in their idyllic life, how they spent the first 100 or so years just gazing into each other's eyes. They built a simple life, good for them. They made friends with the animals and surrounded themselves with both nature and the beasts of the natural world. They hoped it would last for an eternity. But fate is one of those forces that will never let you go. Human, angel, or even God. There is a grand tapestry woven, and you can even see their fate at the center of our very crest. They had a child. The boy's birth brought the king and queen much joy. The prince became a symbol of their love and victories of their unbridled spirits. They watched him grow, and as he did, it was as though all the blight of the past had been erased completely. The boy was raised by them both to do the right thing, to stand up for the underdog and the downtrodden, to help those less fortunate than himself. I do not want to use the word hero, but if the shoe fits. This young, enthusiastic prince became a fine person quite quickly. He befriended an animal, I think it was a lynx, and the two were inseparable from that point on. To see him grow, mature, and make these kinds of spontaneous choices both thrilled and delighted his parents. I just wish I had been part of all this as well. A foolish wish, really. Everything was good and well until shortly after the prince turned 4. Remember I had called for my brother when Adam sieged Zion? Well, it was at this point in our act that the news reached the king and queen. The king found out that his arm left to protect the city was useless. Incapacitated, and how I tried, but failed, to protect the survivors. He did not even stop to take a breath. He lifted down his old hammer, Heaven's Bane, from the wall, and felt the heft. Eve, though, she laid her hand on his shoulder and then guided him to a hidden secret. She took Death's sting from her belongings, where she had hidden it, even from the king, and offered it to him together with a quiver of those very special arrows you know so well by now. He took the bow. He was confused but trusted Eve's better judgment in this case. Eve girded herself for battle and retrieved her ancient twin glaives. She took them from a special chest she had carefully hidden under the floor to hide them from the prince, lest he cut himself badly upon their razor-sharp edges. These weapons of old, which had not had a role in Eve's life for hundreds of years, sang at her touch. They whispered songs of old glories and woke from their long slumber and shone once more. As they readied themselves to return to the besieged city, the queen saddled her mount, a direwolf which was suited for long travel. The king chose his own mount, a magnificent, remarkably large bull elk. The king of the forest bore the king of Zion. Fitting, really. The prince was 4 at this time, remember, but eager to join his parents in battle, good kid, leapt upon the back of his lynx, who was also ready to join the young boy and his parents. As the sun broke over the horizon, they left their safe, loving refuge for the embattled city of Zion.